Technology specialist, which is a fancy title for kind of like a tech coach, I guess. I spend half my day working with teachers and going into different buildings and having conversations with them about things that they can do to integrate technology into their teaching practices. And the other half of the day, I teach very, very, very small classes of kids, and they help teachers integrate technology into their teaching. So I've got a pretty sweet gig. I'll be able to, I can master it. It's just a box, 3 parts. So, if you have any questions when we're done with today's conversation, this is my email. Feel free to email me any questions. It's also up there. I don't have an elaborate Google slide presentation for you because my goal is to kind of take you through Google Classroom since you cannot access it. Show you what I can do, what other teachers can do, what you would be able to do if you were to have this, if you were a Google Apps for Education district. So, also this is my Twitter handle. I don't tweet all that much. It's nothing groundbreaking, but occasionally I do. My curriculum guy is really into Twitter. He's got a lot of followers, and he's impressed with himself with that. And so I did it just to mainly appease him. But anyway, there's a lot of good stuff you can get off Twitter. I won't go into that. But there's a ton of professional development that I get off of Twitter as a follower, not so much as a poster. So, anyway, what I've done, my first 12 years of teaching, I was a world history teacher, geography teacher, government teacher, contemporary issues teacher. That's all I knew. I was a coach, football, basketball. Now I just only do track because my son's growing up and I want to coach him instead of have somebody else coach him. And technology wasn't something that I knew a ton about. I tinkered with it. I was presented with the opportunity to have this position, so I jumped on it. I know nothing about hardware, nothing. I can't put computers together. People ask me all the time, I can't do it. So what I'm sharing with you today is from a teacher's perspective, and how you can use this in your classroom if you go in that direction here at Cuba. So, Google Classroom. It is free. It is still in its infancy. They really launched the beta version, the beginning stages of it this summer, and then it became accessible to the teachers here in August. So it's only been around for a couple months. It's nice to have a good understanding of Google Drive and Google Docs. How many of you are using Google Drive and Google Docs in your classroom? A couple of you. Excellent. All right. And then what subjects am I dealing with?
Science, PE, math.
Math. Okay.
Arts.
All right.
Or
So you guys, some of you may not see the validity in some of this, but just stay with me. How do you get to Google Classroom? I will show you shortly, but you can always Google it and get access to it if you're a Google Apps for Education district, okay? This is basically what you'll see whenever you log in, and I'll take you there shortly. I'll show you how to create a class. This is the dashboard that the students will look at. And when it comes to kids signing up for Google Classroom, all they have to do is type in a code. When they join, it's very simple. You don't have to type in all their emails. So, how many of you are familiar with Edmodo? In Edmodo, you have to do the same thing. They just type in the code, parents or the kids, and they get access to it. So, that's kind of what we're going to look at. I'm going to show you how to do all these different things. And then, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to shoot them in my direction. I have to be tethered to the computer, so I apologize if I can't walk around. I will say it's kind of an awkward situation being here because Mr. Mathisen here, I know from way back. Mr. Mathisen was my freshman basketball coach at Union. All right, so when I saw his name on the email list, I tell you what, I always love running into people that have been a part of my life in education. So we're going to go ahead and look at Classroom. Basically, all you have to do is sign into Google to get access to it. Sign into Google, type in Google Classroom on the internet, and it'll take you here. All right, it's pretty simple. The classes you create are all accessible on the left side with these 3 lines. This is what I would consider the streaming dashboard. If I wanted to change users, I can just log out here, sign out, and then someone else can log in. I'm going to show you what the teacher's dashboard looks like, and then I'll show you what the students looks like, because they are just a little bit different. And as we're going through this, feel free to ask questions, interrupt me whenever you want. Like, how would I use it here, or how would I use it there? Now, I'm already dealing with math. Who are math teachers? I fully realize that this might be a little bit harder for you, because a lot of times your formulas and whatnot don't translate into Google Docs. So just understand that. I totally get you. And then when it comes to PE, who are my PE guys? Probably won't use this as much either. So I've just eliminated half my target audience. But maybe you can support your colleagues by using this. So whenever they sign up, all they have to do, we'll go back to the home, is for a kid to sign up, or for you to create your class. You'll click on this plus sign and create class. You'll get a screen that looks like this. You'll identify, name the class, what section. Let's say I teach English 1 and English 2. I would not create English 1 class and have all my English 1 kids in there, and then English 2 and all my English 2 kids in there. I would go English 1, first hour, English 2, second hour, English 1, third hour, English 1, fifth hour, English 2, sixth hour. That's how I do it. Now, you guys aren't blocked, so I don't know if you can get up to 6, but that's how I would do it. I wouldn't put them all in one lump class, because that makes the uploading and all that take forever. We realized the hard way.
Once you make a class, can you copy it to another hour? So like if all your hours at the same place, do you have to redo it all, or can you just copy it? Information.
Like
I don't know that you can copy it. I would probably create them each separately.
No,
because
once you create them, like once you do a day.
like assignments and stuff. Can you copy and paste assignments from one class to another?
Yes, I'll show you that. There's boxes, and then you can just click all the boxes that applies to, and then let's shoot them all out at the same time. So, okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to create the class because I've got a few already. Okay, this is my WIT class. This is when teachers get mad at me. I have 8 students total, all right, in my WIT class. So I'm spoiled, and you can hate me. I totally, that's fine. I've learned to deal with negative glances from my peers for the last 2 years, okay? I also have 10 Moocers. How many of you know what a Mooc is? This is off topic, but it's important. You've got to know what a Moocer is. Moocs are massive open online courses. These are courses that came out probably 08, 09. They're offered by universities for students to take. Either they can pay, or a lot of them are free. So you might take a free course offered by Duke University.
Is that like Coursera?
Coursera is a provider, Udacity, Udemy, edX. Basically, they curate these courses. And it could be about anything. Last year, there was a university in California offering a Walking Dead course. It was sociology, and it was like four professors that were putting on this class. I never got the chance to take it because we were kind of late in on signing in. But I really regret the fact that I wasn't able to register for that class. Anyway, they offer these classes. And the big knock on Moocs is people enroll in these courses and then they never complete them. Like, there's like a 10% completion rate because there's nothing holding them accountable. Even though they take quizzes, they have to like peer evaluate other people's papers. Anyway, at Union we're doing something a little unique, whereas I monitor them. They sign up for these courses through Duke, Penn State, Pennsylvania, and I actually supervise them. I know nothing about what they're learning, but I at least hold them accountable through written summaries and whatnot. So, anyway, so I have Moocs in one half of my room, and then I have my own kids that I'm teaching in the other half. So that's the explanation. All right, so I create these classes, and I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like. This is the dashboard. Once the kids enroll into the class, okay, they enroll with the ID. This is my WIT class, so the ID is right here. This is something I would write on my board and tell my kids when they join. By going here and clicking join, they would type in that code right there and they'd automatically be enrolled into that class. I would not put all my classes on the board at once, because undoubtedly someone from 6th hour is going to write in the code from someone in 5th hour, and they're going to be in the wrong class. And you're going to get mad. I'm getting mad just thinking about it. All right? So don't do that. Just do one class at a time. and all should be good. So they enroll in it. This is kind of what they see. Any upcoming assignments will be posted here. Class code mentioned here, just in case. It's important. You can reset the code or disable it if other people are trying to get into your class, because it's so amazing. All right? Now, once we see this dashboard, we've got a couple options. We can make announcements to our students, or we can post assignments. Now, you just came from a flipping discussion, all right? If you wanted to flip your classroom or do some type of blended model, this would be a way to do that. Now, there's lots of other tools. What kind of tools did she recommend to use for flipping?
They did Schoology at their
Schoology.
School,
Okay.
Their platform.
All right.
So
Okay.
can you embed videos into this?
You can, yes. Yeah, through YouTube. It plays very nice with YouTube. Even if it's not your video. There's someone that created a video already because they're better at it than you, like the crash course. Have you ever seen the crash courses?
Mm-hmm.
They're like 10 minutes. They're awesome. The guy's really weird, but they're awesome. So you can use that as part of your flip model. There's a lot of other websites out there you can use for flipping, but we
Can
won't
you
go there.
put Khan Academy in here?
I think
They're
a lot
on
of
YouTube.
cons go through YouTube.
Yeah, they're on YouTube.
So yeah, you can work that somehow, some way. If you're really interested in Khan and all the educational providers of videos, I would write down the word Edpuzzle, and I would really look into Edpuzzle. Strongly recommended. Okay. There's also BlendSpace, and anyway, moving on. So I got two things I can do. I can post announcements. Oh my goodness. It's amazing how different keyboard. I could post this announcement for all my kids to see. Boom. It pops up, they get kind of an email notification. They go to the dashboard. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, don't forget the World War II summary. I can also post a worksheet for them to do. All I have to do is simply upload the file. I can upload it from Word. I'm going to actually upload this from my Google Drive. Find something that makes sense. Oh, 5th grade basketball parent letter. Here we go. That's good stuff right there. Do not yell at the officials, parents. Come on now, they're high school kids. All right, I could also upload directly from the drive. It doesn't have to be a Google Doc. I can upload a video. Let's see if we can find a video on. I want them to watch this tonight. See if we can find that Green Brothers a crash course video. No? Come on. All right, we'll use this one. And I can provide a hyperlink to a website that I want them to check out.
So your kids really getting all this?
What do you mean?
Like you're uploading this to your real class?
Yeah, they're going to... See, I've done talks like this before, so anytime I do this type of presentation, they're going to get weird stuff, and they know it.
Okay.
Like the first time was a little shocking when I said 10-page paper about something that was not relevant, but they're kind of used to it. Okay, so I got different forms of media that I've provided for them. I've got a worksheet, or maybe it's 3 questions. All right, maybe it's instructions to a project that's coming up. I've got a video that I want them to watch to help supplement the lecture that I'm going to put on about the Reformation the following day. I mean, I believe in instruction. I believe in me talking, whether it's on a video or it's using, it's live. I still like to talk in front of people. So this is maybe can supplement what I do. Also, this is a link to ESPN, which deals heavily with the Reformation and the Rams' complete meltdown in the 4th quarter. Okay? So I'm going to give them this information. The question that was asked earlier, can I click these boxes so it all shoots out to all my English 1 classes, and there's your answer. Okay? So
if you have like 6 sections of something, you can do it for all of them?
Yep. Okay. But I'm going to click these. I'm only going to send to my WIC kids, and then I'm going to post it. I need to type something here. Now I can post it. So if I want to edit this, I can just click on these three buttons over here, these three dots. I can go to edit, or I can just delete this altogether if I realize that maybe I don't want that to happen. Okay? Now there's no due dates on this. There's no time restraints. When you announce something, you're just throwing it out there. I can add comments, or they can add comments. If I don't want them adding comments because I really don't like some of the comments that they make, I can go over to students up here, and I can put only teacher can post or comment. But maybe that's what I want them to do. Maybe the announcement is, please post one question that you've created after watching this video on the Reformation. And then we're going to discuss the answers to those questions the following day in class. Maybe that's how we use the announcement. Assignment is a little bit different. World War I, that's not a broad topic at all. 3 pages, that should be suffice, right? In the eyes of a high schooler. All right, if I want to put more specific information or instruction, I can type it right here. Due date, let's make it due the 13th. And then usually when I make things due electronically, I always go all the way up in the midnight, right? 11:59 p.m. Just like an announcement, I can upload an attachment, something from my Google Drive. I can upload a YouTube video, a hyperlink, and I can send it to whatever classes I want.
What if you have your own video? Let's say you didn't want to put it on the YouTube.
Where is your video? Where are you going to put it?
No, I don't. This is not. I'm just saying.
Right, I know.
On the off chance that you're, say you don't use YouTube.
Yeah.
So you put all your videos on a flash drive.
Yeah. Well, what we have to do is a couple things. This works via the internet. So your video has to be posted somewhere. Whether it's YouTube, TeachTube, because that's a good question because do your kids have access to YouTube?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's unlocked?
They have teacher.
All right.
Or
that's a fight. That's tough to do.
YouTube education.
Oh, just TeachTube?
The YouTube education that just
YouTube
allows
for education,
educational.
but not all of YouTube.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So what I would do is put my video on TeacherTube or YouTube for Education. Is We Video blocked? I don't know. But basically, you'd have to put the video somewhere where the kids can access it.
But you just put it on there.
No. But, when you work in dealing with things that are blocked versus unblocked, you got to find that place where it's unblocked, upload the video to that, and then you wouldn't use the YouTube, obviously. You'd use this hyperlink, and you'd attach the link to your video, so wherever your video happens to be stored.
What if it's saved in your called it drive there?
If it's saved in the drive, then you can upload from the drive. You should be able to do that. I've never done that. And I don't have any video files on my drive, I don't think, so I couldn't even try it.
Did you go save one from YouTube real fast as well?
I don't think you can save it.
The only way I put on videos on that is on the app on my phone, the Drive, Google app or Google Drive app.
Yeah.
You can upload videos, like make videos on your phone or something.
Cool.
Upload them on there. But
Yeah, I'd have to play around with that a little bit more to let you know. But I'm pretty sure as long as your video, because you can't put video files in your Google Drive. That's what they had mentioned last time. I think Google Apps for Education is going to a direction where kids have unlimited storage in their Google Drives, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's for people who manage networks and have to deal with storage and their network being bogged down.
Do the teachers have unlimited?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that was an excellent question. All right, so we're moving on. We can assign this 3-page paper. Now, when I assign a document in the assignment portion, I get this part. This is what's different from the announcement. Now I can track done versus not done. Now, for most of you in the real world, you're going to have, at least 22, 23 kids here. You're not going to be like me. But it's nice to be able to track done versus not done. I can see right now that all these kids have not turned in this assignment. As time goes on, it will become obvious who's doing the assignment and who's not doing the assignment once we reach that due date. Now my Mooc kids, we can look at their reflections. They have to do a reflection once a week. I can tell right now, you see 9-1, 9-1. Well, I'm okay with this one because this student actually left. I wonder if she came to Cuba, actually. I won't say her name because that's not. But she was with me for a little bit doing Mooc, and she was doing great, and then she disappeared on me. Anyway, so I go to done. This is what done looks like. And when I look at all the assignments, I can actually assign point values after I look at their assignment. The assignment value can go from 1 to 20 to 50 to 100, whatever you determine. All my reflections are 20 points. And to grade the assignment, all I have to do is click on the kid's name. I'm going to click on Summary 7. And there is his assignment.
It can only be those set values, those point values? That's all
I think that's the only options you have. Yep. If you don't want to use that option, you want to assign your own point value, then maybe you can type it up here in the corner of the paper or something. I mean, there's ways to get around that. It just won't be a part of that, that grading column. Now, this kid wrote about Bitcoin. How many of you have heard of Bitcoin? Some of you? No? Yeah, me neither. Until, like, I had a couple kids that were really into technology. Bitcoin is like an online currency. It's crazy. I don't know how it works, but it's its own currency that you can use to buy and sell, and it's bizarre. So anyway, he's doing his Mooc on Bitcoin. That's like one of the lessons right now, and it doesn't get me excited, but apparently he's all about it. If I wanted to make alterations to his summary, which I don't too much, basically if they write a summary and I can understand it, it's good to go. I don't really get into sentence structure and grammar and all that that's good stuff. I've got decent kids, so unfortunately I don't have to worry about that as much. But if I wanted to get into the editing process, for example, I can type excellent point. Any type of edit that I make, shows up on the right side, and they have to make the adjustment. They can make replies to what I've said. They can click it whenever they've made the adjustment, so they know that they finished that part of the editing process. So it's a nice tool to have. If you're familiar with Google Docs, you can do this in Google Docs too. You don't need Google Classroom. The only difference is in Google Classroom, you get the suggesting button, and it turns green. All right, and these boxes just automatically pop up.
Is there a math toolbar where you can do math worksheets?
No, like I said, math doesn't play nice with Google Docs. The formulas don't seem to.
On the forms, they have a new one that they.
Gmath.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
yes.
You can type
so they are getting to where you can do that more and more, but they're not 100% there yet. Yes, Gmath.
But they are making
They are getting to the point where you're able to use math formulas and everything carries over nicely. All right, so that's a summary. I read it. Way to go, Austin. Perfect violation. I'm sorry. I can see a submission history, so I can see when he turned in the document. If he unsubmits his document, which he actually can do if he doesn't like it before he turns it in, I can see when he unsubmits and resubmits. I just click on here, give him a grade, and then I click on the box, and I click return, and that passes it back to him, and he sees his grade. I can grade all of them. What I normally do is grade all of them, click all the boxes, then I return them all at once. Now, when I return this to him, if there's additional notes that I want to share with him, like, hey, your point in the third paragraph about Bitcoin becoming feasible in the next 2 weeks, I don't know what you need more evidence to support this because I don't see that happening. This is where I can put descriptive feedback here, or I can put it in the document. This might just be a general feedback time. Like, hey, I really enjoyed your opening paragraph. Just work on your conclusion, resubmit. Boom. Turn in a week, we're good to go. All right, I'll just return that to them so I don't think that's weird. I can also email my kids. I don't know why I would, but if I need to email them an announcement, I can go that route, click all those boxes. And I forgot to mention this last hour. All these grades, if I wanted to download them, Oh, I'm sorry. Whoever's teaching. Is the teacher that owns this computer in here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just downloaded the spreadsheet, so you're going to get all the grades as, oddly enough, not a Google spreadsheet, but a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. But now all their grades are right here. We're going to open it up and see what it looks like. Nothing fancy, but it's always nice to be able to print grades off. Maybe it's easier to put them in your grade book that way. All right, okay, let's keep moving. Any questions so far? All right, so that's what it looks like in an Excel spreadsheet. Not too exciting, but it's there. All right. So, upcoming assignments, once again, we talked about done versus not done. This is very handy whenever I need to monitor who has not turned in the assignment. Students, if I want to invite them, say you don't want to use the code, you got a new kid that moved in, you just want to invite them, you get their email, click invite, type in their email, and you're good to go. About, there's nothing fancy about. It just explains what your class is about.
Should all your kids have union emails?
Yes, when you are at Google Apps for Education, and feel free to ask all kinds of questions about all kinds of things, because I love it. The Google Apps for Education account provides an email for each kid. So you do not have to, we've all been there where it's like, all right, guys, I need you to establish a Gmail or a Yahoo or a Hotmail. I don't know if people use Hotmail, but email accounts so that we can utilize this program. This provides an email for every kid. Unfortunately, at Union, we got the longest emails ever because it's at student.union.k12.mo.us. If you could go shorter than that, that'd be great. Okay, because that's long. But it's first, period, last, and then at student.union. They all have, and that's the emails they use for their blogs. That's the email they use for whatever programs that you're using that are outside the Google family. So yes, they are all assigned. Now the problem with that is that they sometimes forget their password, and your librarian / library media specialist has to be very patient and help them reset those passwords from time to time.
So everybody in your school uses Google Classroom?
Not everybody. Nope. Probably about 25–30%. This launched in August, and it was buggy, so we weren't able. None of the districts were really able to launch a full-scale. This is what we want to do, and this is how we do it. And there was no need for it because there were things messing up with it at first. Now it's gotten a lot smoother, and I can see a lot of schools saying, "Hey, this is the route we want to go next year." But this year we're at 25–30%. By next year, I can see us being about 40%. We don't. Our school doesn't say you have to do this or that. Some teachers use Edmodo, and they're able to get a lot of the same functionality out of Edmodo. But if you're using Google Docs and you're sharing docs, and that's a route that you go a lot, you need to use Google Classroom because it'll make your life so much simpler.
You have to sign up for it as a district.
The district has to sign up for it because it's not available to the private user. It gives every kid an email. The kid, you can lock it. Basically set up an environment where the kids do not get emails outside of the district, which is what it is for our kids. So we're kind of able to supervise that. Our teachers are able to correspond back and forth with our students through email, but because you can post information, I don't know that any other teachers use that.
Who runs it for you?
Our IT guy, his name's Matt Jones. He supervises and manages that. I know you guys contract out with your technology.
You guys have your own in-house guys, or you
we do. We do it, but I don't think it's a lot of work for them. I think all the work is in the initial setup.
Is he just for your building, or is he a district?
He's district-wide.
You have just one.
We have 4, but he oversees everything, and then the other 3 guys are more like, go fix this computer, go run these cables.
So is it a cost for the district?
It's free.
For the district,
it's free, and they rely on it.
It's free.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always indirect costs, like we need more devices, right?
Well, let's be honest, Google's going to start charging for this once people start using it.
Well, I don't know. I have not caught wind of that. I mean, I'm not a Google certified teacher, and if I was, I'd maybe have a better answer for that. But I have not caught wind of that from anyone who is Google certified. So, I don't know. there's a lot of features that Google provides, like Blogger, like Google Sites, all these different Google apps that are out there that have been free for a long time. So I'm optimistic. Maybe naive, but I'm optimistic. All right, so this is this is a teacher perspective. Let me quickly show you the student perspective.
So when you post an assignment or whatever it is, do they get an email that says to check it, or do they actually get the assignment? Like,
they get it on their dashboard. It pops up, but if they're not on the dashboard, I mean, they're not hanging out on the dashboard, right? So they do get an email notification. If their phones are set up to where they get dinged or some kind of notification.
They don't actually see it until they go into their dashboard.
Correct.
To look at it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. If I want them to look at their dashboard, because I pushed an assignment out, I usually send like a remind text, and that seems to get their attention because they always have their phones with them. All right, so this is one of my students. She gave me permission to. The only way you can access a student look is to be a student. As a teacher, I've tried to enroll as a student in my own class, and it wouldn't let me do it. So here I am as a student, and I've got English. My English teacher is using this, and of course, Mr. Hall, instructional tech guy, is using it. So here's the assignment I just kicked out. I think I just posted it, actually. No, it was an assignment. And here's the other different things that I posted earlier. So they see that if it's current, if it's within the last week, say you push something out 3 weeks in advance, they really won't see it for a while in their upcoming assignments. Only within the last week will they see their upcoming assignments. If I want to view all my assignments, I just click on that. And they're revealed. All right, go back. So let's say I get this assignment. There's better instructions, obviously. I open it. I can do a couple things. I can type in Google Docs in my drive, and I can upload it from my drive, which is the add key. Or I just upload it from the drive, or if it's linked, let's say I created a video and it's hyperlinked, I can click on that, or just upload a file. If it's in Microsoft Word, I can do that. If I'm creating it from scratch, let's say I'm doing a document. I'll start from the beginning. I type my paper. And unlike Google Drive, all right, I'm going to get a lot of feedback, okay, but I think this is actually the name of one of the volcanoes in Iceland. I can click Turn In. Google Drive does not have the Turn In button. Google Drive has the Share, which allows you to type in the emails and then share it out. The Turn In button is exclusive to the Google Classroom. So I type my paper, I click Turn In. I can add a comment. Goodness. I'm sorry. I struggle with this keyboard. And I click, that should be it. It's submitted. All right, it's been turned in. And it shows up as done over here on this page.
Like if they forgot to do something, like type in the paper, they want to go back and
absolutely,
fix
they
on
can
that.
go back and they can then submit, and they can make the corrections they need to make to it. And as a teacher, when you click on their name, it says submission history, and you can actually see the times. I mean, I think I mentioned that already, but you can see the times of all the submissions that they've done. So you're dealing with multiple drafts, and especially with English, maybe social studies. You're going. It's going to be nice to see kind of the different times of all these submissions.
Can you see, like as a teacher, like when they did submit it, can you go look what that document looked like at that time? Like if you were wanting to see the first draft, second draft?
I think so. I believe so. Let me go back. I'm going to unsubmit this again. And then I'm going to resubmit it. So I think, what is that, 2 or 3 resubmits. And I'll go back and I'll log in under my name. I see that she's done because she turned it in. I click on done. I click on her name. Submission history. No, so I can't do that.
Okay.
But you know, in Google Docs, if you share it back and forth, you can look at the revision history and you can see the stages of that paper as it's being created. But here, you can only look at the times.
Okay.
So, good question. All right. I know it's dark in here. And I'm talking about a tool that you do not have access to and may not have access to, right? But the hopes is that maybe this potentially could be something that you can use or most of your teachers can use down the road. What I've done in the past is I've actually had teachers log in and create all the stuff. It was very one-to-one BYOD type environment. But here you're just sitting and you're getting, and I'm talking the whole time. So I don't know if there are any questions. Because if there are, I would love to answer more questions. I like Google Classroom. It's not the silver bullet, right? I mean, there's so many different tools out there that many people can use. It is accessible by all students. It plays nice with Google Drive and YouTube. It allows you to have a paperless environment, so you're not chasing stacks of paper. That you keep it all right there, and it's nice to be able to go back a month or 2 months previously and access some of the writings that they have. I kicked out documents, Word or Google Docs as assignments here. I'll show you my Moocs. These were all Google Doc assignments that kids turned in, but with my WIT kids, it's a little bit different. I actually push out links. So article reviews, I use Google Forms for that. And so I just push out the link and they fill out the Google form or the survey, whatever that is, and then I get those responses in the spreadsheet. But Google Forms is different. When you submit as an assignment a Google form, it will not come back as done or not done. You just have to accept that they're all going to look if they're not done. But I know to go to the spreadsheet where all the answers go to, and I can check and see if they're done.
Is there anything on this one that you notice like that you can't do? Like this seemed kind of simple compared to some of like Canvas and stuff like that.
This
some
is
of
very
those other
simple.
platforms.
That's exactly what this is simple. I don't know if they'll add more to it. I'm sure they will over time, but because it's free, you get the simplicity. But Canvas, which I have no familiarity with, but I've heard Canvas is people who have it love it.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot more, but you pay for it.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what you want to pay for.
How secure is this?
It's Google, so it's not as secure as you want it to be. You know, at Union, we actually, our IT guys have the teachers, we still have our Outlook accounts for our email. We don't even use Gmail. But St. Clair, they're a GAF district, and they use the Gmail for their teachers. So, you know, security is always a concern, and that's a good conversation with kids. Like, you put something on Google Doc, realize that it could potentially be accessible to a lot of people. Microsoft Word, in the business world, is probably still going to stick with your Microsoft stuff because it is more secure.
You said they can set up or maybe I misunderstood this. They set up the kids' emails so that I don't know how you put it, but it doesn't exist outside of school.
Yeah, I mean, the kids can only email their teachers and each other. So they can like use their Gmails to collaborate, share documents, and type on the same document and do things, work on this, like Google Slide, for example. This is a Google presentation. You know, it looks like PowerPoint. It's not as robust as PowerPoint.
But they can directly email each other?
Yep. Yep. Which I don't think they really do unless it's academic oriented, because it's easier to text or Instagram or Snapchat. Email so old school.
Is there a record of it?
Is what?
Is there a record of their emailing back and forth?
Yes, yes. All right, our guy can pretty much see everything. And I don't know who wants to, yeah. So that is, it's good for that accountability, except
Not
for use.
necessarily an issue you want to see it, but when somebody can
Yeah.
says, hey, they were.
You betcha. They can they can look into that. I mean, I could be misspoken, but I'm almost positive they can see everything that they do within that. That's one thing nice. That's one thing a lot of schools like, is they can see all that.
Well, and you said the library and reset the passwords and stuff.
Anything else? Thoughts? Like or dislike? I'm not paid by Google, guys.
So why is this not as handy as for math? I guess.
Well, math, you know, their sheets, they use formulas, and Google Docs for a reason doesn't speak the same language. Now,
like you can't type in a division sign, or like whenever you're writing in problems for them. But now they have.
But now there's a script,
add-ons
and it's in
that do
latex. Is that like the formula language that they use?
I don't know.
But I think
what it is.
they are moving in that direction because
But they're doing it where you can insert some
Yep.
of those.
they're already
things.
made for you.
Yeah.
The more people complain with Google when people have issues. For example, the comments section right here. I know people had to be complaining because their kids were typing stuff on there that they didn't want. The teachers did not. Were tired of kids typing like what they were going to eat for lunch on there.
Yeah.
So then they added this. This was not originally part of the deal. Then they added that function where only the teacher could post or comment. So I know that when you make suggestions to them, they're pretty good about listening. And I bet all the math teachers are like, this is useless to us if we can't type our formulas in without it getting all wacky and weird.
Could you put your formula in Microsoft, and then put that on
That's what they tried, and it wasn't translating well. But now there's a script. I'm gonna go into this real quick. Let's see here. I can show you what I'm talking about. Once again, I'm sorry for all the tabs. I go to my drive and I upload a form. Maybe it's in a Google Doc. It's an add-on actually. It's called GMath. And I'm not a math teacher, so, you know, understand that I'm probably not the right guy to teach this add-on. But all you gotta do is add it. Once you add it as an add-on, it becomes available. Hold on.
Might have to reload your.
Here we are. This choice eliminator is awesome. How many of you are familiar with Google Forms? Well, this add-on allows you to like type in all these different, like for elementary schools with parent-teacher conferences, they can type in all their meeting times, and then as someone takes the form and takes a time slot when they submit the form, it automatically eliminates it as options for the next person who takes that form. It's pretty cool. Anyway, GMath. Let's go with create math expressions. But here you can write your own latex code, or you can use these ones that down here that are already provided, these symbols. I'm sure they took ones that are most commonly used, but I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'll find ones that aren't on there yet. But you can insert this into your docs or your forms now, and it plays
it,
nice.
because you can't type it.
Yeah, like while you're typing, you select those things
To make a fraction.
to make.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use this guy right here. Hold on, just give me one. Oh, what did I do?
To put like sample problems for them to solve or something.
Yeah, so I can add these formulas. I need to get rid of it.
I think you have to go up to the top part. Once there.
Here,
Or up there, or maybe one.
No, not that one.
Clear.
clear. Clear. All right, and then I can type in whatever.
You gotta learn how to use it.
You gotta learn how to use it. You know, that shot at me.
I don't think that's a real
No.
symbol.
All right. Yeah. So you can actually type it in the default formula that they provide. I can insert that, and it types it in here. But that is not super user friendly. You have to be really into it.
But it'll probably get more user
It will over time. It will over time. I agree with that. Any other questions? Anybody thinking about flipping their classroom? No?
I think it might be fun in some ways. I teach special ed.
Yeah.
And so it would be hard to like completely do it, and so I would want to know if you can like sort of do it.
Right. Yeah, there's some people that do sort of do it.
Yeah.
I've had teachers that log all their videos, and so they have a library. They curated all their videos of all their lessons, and other teachers that use it and differentiate in the classroom. They'll have 20 devices, and they got these 5 on this lesson, these 3 on this lesson, these 2 on this lesson. It's tough. You really got to be skilled at differentiating your instruction, and you have to have devices. All right, well, guys, that concludes what I have for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.